Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, June 10th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, if I don't cover a stock that you're interested in, make sure to comment down below. Give me that request, and I'll do my best to do that in a future video. And second, I will be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. And also, maybe you're observant and you're seeing that this candle here, well, actually, let me zoom in a little bit. But that candle right there is still moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. So stock number one, ticker symbol GME. All sorts of drama around this one. Had the webinar today or the live stream or whatever. Was quite the joke from what I heard about it or whatever. But overall, from a technical standpoint, still all sorts of volatility and movement. And from a trading angle, that's what it's all about. So in terms of levels to watch moving forward, first off, for those of you that watched yesterday's video, we talked about 47.50 as that area of resistance. And yeah, you can see right now, officially definitely a very stubborn level. With that being said, the price is way far below there, so that's kind of irrelevant. I'm going to get rid of that line for now, too, because really, in my opinion, the level that is very, very important next week from a technical standpoint, all about that pink line there, the very well-known, very famous 200-period moving average. And so far, so good. You can see the price has tested a couple times and has held strong every time. But the reason why it's so important, and I'm not saying this will occur, but for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down here and break down through that level, what would that be doing to the price? That would be putting the price right back inside of this range where it was before things started. Or in other words, that would be implying that the price made a great move up and then has gone right back to where it started. Not exactly a sign of genuine power. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that's why that 200-period moving average right now valued at, we'll call it 24.65, very important going into next week. On any sort of bounce, initial level from a resistance standpoint, going to be that purple line there, 50-period moving average valued at 31.90. Next, FFIE, and overall, got some movement today, and that's a good thing because from an overall standpoint, let me zoom this out, you can see that when we look at the lows, so we have a set of lows there, then we have lows there, and then we have lows right there. These lows are getting higher and higher. So from a big picture viewpoint, that is good. That is what you want to see. But I also acknowledge that from, a lot of perspective goes into this. I mean, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, and you were buying right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, that chart looks absolutely disgusting because, yeah, made the move up there and then just basically fell apart the rest of the day as it came down there. But nonetheless, like I said, as of now, this level right here, and this is just basic technical analysis, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So 60 cents was a level of resistance going into today, and with the price above it, you can see right here, power of charts, the price is now just cruising right above that area. And the reason why you really want to see 60 cents hold is it goes back to what we were just talking about on GME. If the price were to fall back below that level, what is that doing to the price? It is quite literally putting the price right back inside of this range where it already was. So again, one of those nice movements right back to where it was. And you don't want to see that happen from a genuine strength point of view. So 60 cents by far the most important level going into next week. Next one, SQQQ, and this one is getting some life here once again as it tries to bottom out. Now right here it was looking pretty shaky, but after that price came up and didn't explode, but is starting to level out. And in my opinion, it becomes a very valid question on whether or not to start to throw out there is this some sort of bottoming out. And along with the technical standpoint, especially for you breakout players, definitely a very well-defined area of resistance right there at $9.40. I mean, if we go through the history of things, you can see 9.40 acted as resistance there, and then twice this afternoon. So that's not to say that 9.40 can't be broken. I'm just saying it makes sense why the price has struggled at that area. Now, even if the price does break above 9.40, don't get overly excited because not that far away, you do have a downward sloping 50-period moving average. But a good high volume break of 9.40, in my opinion at least, will allow the price to break up through that 50-period moving average also. In terms of levels of support, nothing fancy or complicated here. In fact, let me change that to green for support. Just a question today of where did the bleeding finally stop? And the bleeding stopped right down there at $9.15. So for that reason alone would be the key, level of support or an area where it could potentially bounce from. But yeah, like I said, very interesting scenario. This one can move and move very quickly. So when you have this sideways action and you have these well-defined resistance and breakout points, let's see if the price can indeed get the break. Next, GERN, and have a nice solid pattern here. So let's just get this pattern drawn into play. And as I draw this pattern, please understand I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is some sort of great discovery on my part. I assure you, a lot of people have noticed this pattern. So again, change that to green for support. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So to make this easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have, that was a pretty terrible line. We have our resistance. We have our support. We have the explosive move right there. For you golfers, make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf ball down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So there are no guarantees, but is it valid, is it plausible thing that the price come down here, get a bounce off that level, come up there, and then break through that level, and that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is absolutely a valid thought process to have. So if you like stocks right around the $5 mark, you like bull pennants, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, AMC, and unfortunately had a very nasty day today. Well, not necessarily day, more so just that 1 30-minute candle is what really rained on the parade. Because up until then, it was doing a good job just chopping around, consolidating. But that 30-minute session right there really put a damper on things. But to not look at the glasses half empty, you can see here, just like GME, that pink line is still, the price is still above it, and you definitely want to see the price continue to stay above that 200-period moving average, in this situation valued at 476, because it just goes back to that whole talking point of if the price drops below that level, comes down here, what is that doing to the price? It's putting the price right back to where it was. And we, assuming you're bullish, you want to avoid the great moves up, followed by the movement straight back to where they were. In trading jargon, sometimes people call that a pump and dump type price movement. So, and that's what you want to avoid, assuming you're bullish. So 200-period moving average, definitely very, very important level to watch. In terms of areas of resistance, watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, right now valued at, we'll call it $5.13. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And all things considered, a fine day. That's still stuck between some of these key levels here, the 180 mark and then, the 172.75 mark. But I will say, even though it's kind of just been chopping back and forth within the sideways action here, I'm doing this very crudely, you do have a nice little bull pennant, bull flag, whatever you want to call it. So if you were to say, well, I think this thing could make a push to the upside of these red lines next week, I totally see where you're coming from. Doesn't mean that it'll occur, but I hear what you're saying, especially with the bullish pattern there. It's more than valid to think that this is just a bull pattern that is, kind of the leading indicator to emphasizing that the price can make a move back up above those levels. So on that note, those are definitely public enemies number 1 and 2. First key level right there at 180. Next key level up there at 182.01. And then as far as supports, nothing new. Still all about 172.75. But the preferable level, meaning the level that would make the chart look the strongest moving forward, would be if the price can continue to hold above that purple line, as it's been doing very, very nicely. That 50-period moving average right now valued at 176.25. Next one here, TPHS, and what a ugly, ugly looking chart. Huge move up, and then just basically gave back all the gains. But you long-time viewers know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity ugly. And the interesting scenario here is that the price is still above both these moving averages. Purple line, 50-period moving average, pink line, 200-period moving average. So while there are no guarantees, is it plausible that the price could come down here, get caught up in this range, and then curl back upwards? Now, does it go back to those highs? I don't know about that. But relative to what would be risked, you could be looking at a very nice risk versus reward scenario that, of course, assumes that you're going to be disciplined and honor stops and all that. But this is one of these things where you got to think so many people discouraged, and then it becomes one of the things where everybody just waves a white flag. This thing is terrible. It's never going to go back up again. And then that's where things usually tend to go back up when everybody reaches that psychological point. And we're coming at upon a technical standpoint, a couple of very interesting levels down there. So if you like these opportunity ugly, you like penny stocks, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, LFLY, and nice pattern here. Nothing that you haven't already seen, so I'm going to go through this one a little bit quicker. Now, does it look like the exact other one I drew? No, but same general idea. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. And then let me just keep it the same color. So resistance, support, upwards move. So a nice little bull flag pattern here has formed. From a consolidation standpoint, this is exactly what you want to see. During pullback consolidation, you want to see very low volume compared to the breakout point, which was right there. So you have all that going on too. So once again, just one of these situations where if you like bull pennants, bull flags, you now have definitely a couple you can choose from, especially down in this price range around $5. Next one, MARA, and so far so good from an overall channel standpoint. What do I mean by that? Well, for those of you that have watched past videos, hopefully remember me talking about $19, as I've talked about that time and time again as a support, and you can see right there, didn't hit it exactly, but got very, very close, and then you just go back to these other situations. So didn't hit it exactly, but close. Right there went slightly below, and then if I go back a little bit more, you can see right here, went slightly below. So 19 has quite the track record, and so far so good. It is continuing to hold strong, even after a nasty pullback like today. And, you know, from a resistance standpoint, nothing new here has changed. Still all about that 2130 mark. I got a false breakout, you know, earlier on. Then the price, once it fell back below it, you can see boom, 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 went right back to acting as resistance that it's done before. So from an overarching standpoint, just a sideways channel. Top of the channel resistance, 2130. Bottom of the channel support, $19. But really, before you put too much emphasis on the top of the channel, if there is any sort of attempted bigger bounce back upwards, keep an eye on those moving averages, as that'll be the main battleground. And right now, they're both valued right around $20.60. Next one, TQQQ. And overall, just consolidation a lot the past couple of days. I mean, it's still been a very, very strong week. But, you know, the overall market, the NASDAQ, which is what this one's tied to, has kind of just slowly been going up. Now, this afternoon, there's no doubt about it, got pretty spicy with this pullback here. But like I said, just a short period there. So it's all about perspective. I get if you're a day trader and you went long right there, you're probably not going to have a good weekend. But from the overall standpoint, even with the pullback here, the overall trend, let me zoom this out, is still plenty in the upwards direction. If you look at overarching key levels, preferable level that would make the chart look the strongest moving forward would be staying above that purple line there, 50-period moving average. And even if the price doesn't hold above there, then I still want to call this a do or die level, but you know, it definitely have more importance in terms of needing to hold strong, would be at 64.45, that pink line, 200-period moving average. In regards to levels of resistance, we're at essentially all-time highs. So all we can really do is just ask the question, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at 68, we'll call it 40. So 68.40 will be public enemy number one headed into next week. But all things considered, even with the pullback late day today, bigger picture-wise, everything is perfectly fine. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. It'll be next week, Thursday, June 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. It is live, so bring your questions, and I'd be happy to answer them in person. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. Real quick on clarification, I'm no longer doing the 30-minute time frame. We are now looking at the 4-hour time frame, so each one of these represents 4 hours. And I like to do that time frame on Bitcoin because it is open 24/7, so I want this video and analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible. But yes, as I speak, wow, the past 4 hours here have been very, very brutal. So that's really going to be the main question that I want you to start things off with. So let's just say you're watching this video Sunday afternoon. Question number one is, where's the price at relative to that purple line? That is an important level, the 50-period moving average. If you're answering the question that the price is up above that level, then what's that telling you? It is telling you that at least the downward pressure here has alleviated. You know, even if it's just somewhere right around here, that would imply that at least the price has stopped going down, which in and of itself is a good thing because no doubt about it, this is a lot of downwards pressure right now. So that's what question number one revolves around, all about where's the price at relative to right around 69,300. That is a moving average, so that value will move and change. But just watch a purple line. Where's the price at relative to it? Now, if you're saying, well, Clay, actually the price is down below that level, next immediate question is, okay, where's the price at relative to the pink line? 200-period moving average right now valued at 66,650. If somehow you're answering the question that the price is down below there, let me offer up a little bit more perspective, then that would be telling you that Bitcoin is having a very, very rough weekend. Now, I'd be kind of surprised if you're answering the question in that way, but it is Bitcoin, so you never know. Now, if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is actually up above that purple line and it's up above that level right there, the resistance, which I should power of charts. Look at that. You can't make that stuff up right off of that level. But if you're saying the price is up above 72,000, well, that would just be telling you Bitcoin is doing very, very well, because that would imply that not only has this downwards pressure stopped, not only has it consolidated, not only has it returned back upwards, but it's also broken up through that level. So that would be a very, very bullish dynamic. So walk yourself through those questions, and I will keep this analysis relevant all weekend long. As I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader, go get signed up for this free live class. It'll be next week, Thursday, June 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope to see you there because what you learn about definitely can and should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin also. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you traded today, tell me what your watch list is for next week, or again, let me know if you have a request for another chart, and I can try to do that in next week's video. So thanks for watching, have a great weekend, and go get signed up for that free webinar.